Welcome back to part 2 of my discussion with the amazing Dr. Tachi. We are discussing Survival of the Thickest. We've barely gotten through season 1, and we still have a whole other season to talk about. And it's been renewed for season 3, so I'm excited about that. But where we left off is that we were talking about how Michelle, God, why did I just forget her name that fast?
Not Marley.
Mavis. Sorry, Mavis. The way her character is written is that she takes a lot of missteps and she makes mistakes, and she suffers the consequences or celebrates the consequences of those moves, which we find refreshing, because usually only male characters get to do that, right? Only men are afforded that allowance. But what I really like is the way her journey is juxtaposed with Khalil's journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Khalil is her male best friend again.
Yes.
And he's a little bit of a himbo. It's the nicest word I could think of.
A himbo.
Until he meets this woman, because he conducts art classes. He's an artist. He's very wildly, wickedly talented. And he meets this woman who really introduces him to the magic of monogamy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the security and the fulfillment that can come from opening yourself to vulnerability.
I agree. I think this is also juxtaposed against the direction of his career as an artist as well.
Yes.
There is an uncertainty, an unsureness of the direction in which he wants to go. He hasn't been able to be creative really in the way he wants to be. He's been kind of floating off of past work that has been fantastic. And so there's a character that enters, the scene. I think it was at the end of season 1, if I'm not is that
the gallery owner?
The gallery owner, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So in terms of wanting him to create work, but create work that he doesn't necessarily want to do. It's for rich patrons. The type of things they want to see is Black suffering, basically, and that's not what he wants to do. So he's feeling uncreative. He's feeling unfulfilled in the type of work that he's being asked to do. And in terms of, sexually, he's not feeling in a place. The things that used to bring him joy in that sense are no longer. So I think all of those 3 things intersect to bring him to the point that he needs therapy or seeks therapy.
Yeah, and I think it comes so there's a funny so they attend Afropunk.
Yes.
In Brooklyn, because that's really where they live, in Brooklyn. So they attend Afropunk, and it's actually quite a funny series of events that happen.
Yes.
We need to back up just a minute.
We do.
So she has now, she did work for Natasha for a time. And then she was styling, because she does work at a drag bar where she styles the queens for their performances.
Yes.
And then she also is helping, she's also coming up with her own designs.
Yes.
And so she, with Marley's help, because Marley is, I don't know what she does as her, I don't understand what her job is.
I'm not sure. She's an executive of some type. I don't know what. Why am I thinking finance? Because she actually puts some financial backing behind the shop that Mavis eventually opens. So I'm thinking she works in finance in some way, shape, or form.
Let's go with that, because I also am unsure. So that sounds good. So she helps. She invests in Mavis's business. She opens her own shop. They tussle a little bit about who gets control, and I thought also that was really beautiful. The way that Marley tries to exert her control, and the way that Mavis is open about how that hurts her feelings, and that, you know, she is worthy of trust in not just with Marley's personal life, but also with a business life. Like, I can handle this. And I thought the way they resolved that was a really great depiction of how, I guess women, especially, we can go to one another and say, look, that hurt my feelings, that whatever, right? I thought that was a really beautiful, those were beautiful moments as well.
And this is kind of where we start to see the complexity, even though we don't see it often, but we start to see the complexity of who Marley is as a character. They don't go into it, but I'm sure they're going to go deeper into this in season 3.
I hope so.
The fact that she is an executive, right? And when you're a woman in the C-suite, there's a certain mode of behavior. You have to be tough. You have to be stern.
You have to be hard.
You have to be hard, right? So that you're not walked all over and people don't disrespect your authority. And sometimes that tends to spill over into relationships, particularly if you're seeing a friend making a seemingly bad decision, like open her shop in a place that is not deemed to be
like that. Not a lot of foot traffic.
Not a lot of foot traffic.
Path, yeah.
Not a good. So, and the whole thing is, so it shows that complexity that she has to relinquish, because even though she has the money to put behind it, she's not in the trenches in that industry to understand whether or not that would be a good thing. Whereas Mavis is, but Mavis has also shown that she's a little flighty and has not made good decisions in the past. So I understand where she was coming from with. Are you sure you want to do that back and forth? But eventually she ends up trusting Mavis and trusting that instinct, because she values the friendship more than she values her ability to use that money to do whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 100%. Okay, so Mavis has her shop, and they're at Afropunk, and she's got a booth where she's selling her clothes and everything. And Anderson .Paak is there.
Yes.
And she really wants to she's like, and she happens to be in a tent where she hears him complaining about how he looks, because he's styled by a very vanilla white man. And she's like, I could do this way better. And, you know, and then she gets rebuffed and she's not able to. So anyway, so then they get high. And she's like stoned out of her gourd, and yet somehow she still, you know, she had made an impression on Anderson .Paak earlier that day, and he comes to find her. She styles him. He looks amazing. But while this is happening, Khalil gets invited into a tent to have sexy times with 3 women, which old Khalil would have been like, yes. New Khalil is like, I did it.
Right.
I don't feel good about it. Right now,
exactly.
Which I think there's growth for both Mavis and Khalil. They're both realizing, rather, they're coming into realization of who they are and what they really want.
Right.
Which I thought was so cool to juxtapose. Their journeys are very different, but they're I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, their journeys are very are different, but yet the same, in the sense that they're both going through this transitional period. And so it happens at the same time, which makes sense, which sometimes you realize happens. You know, you are with a group of friends and transition is happening. This is the thing that I also like about this, that the whole thing was not a contrived, that any male that they happened to be around was gay. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, if you have a female character with a male best friend, the person is also always gay.
That's true, because and I think they do that on purpose, because any potential love interest for the female character can't feel threatened by the best friend.
That's true. That's true. So I think they do that on purpose, but it also sends a message to the viewer that men and women cannot just be platonic friends, that there has to always be something there, some sort of tension, some sort of relationship like vibes, or they used to date and now they're best friends. Like they can never just be, you're a good person.
Right.
No, let's hang out, you know?
Yeah, okay, so now that brings us to Luca.
Yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Luca, handsome man in
beautiful
the right-hand corner.
All the men in this are beautiful. All the people in this are beautiful.
That's a fact. That is just a flat out fact. But Luca is Italian.
Yes.
And he's in New York. Just he comes between New York and Rome.
Correct.
So he's going back and forth.
Is it Rome or is it Milan?
I thought it was Rome.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Milan.
Well, I thought it was Rome because she went to go see the Colosseum.
She did. So it is.
Yeah. So, sorry, we skipped way ahead.
We're going back now.
So Luca enters the picture, and he is almost immediately smitten with her. But she still has a little bit of the back and forth with Jacques. Even in season 2, this happens, right? She's firmly with Luca, but she's still got a little back and forth with Jacques. He, of course, is questioning. So there's some romantic tension. They form kind of a romantic triangle. I didn't buy that 100%. I think that, so, okay, I probably should have said this during our first part of this conversation.
Never too late.
This whole thing is spoilers. So if you don't want to know what happens, I can't help you.
Exactly.
We are where we are. So at one point, Jacques decides he's going to propose. Now, Luca is back in Italy, and they're kind of like sort-of-ish on a break, but not super on a break, right? I did not buy this part. This is where I felt it was a little disingenuous, and the writers were trying to force a tension that wasn't necessary. So Jacques says, I've changed. I miss you. I can't live without you. Blah, 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 blah. She's like, yes, of course I'll marry you. And I sat on the couch and I did the whole dog thing. Huh?
But I think, here's what I think, but that it was not communicated well. That time and effort was put into this relationship. And obviously you still have some sort of feelings. They don't go away, right? She has been waiting probably for this to happen. And she's wanted that. And it didn't happen. Instead, the cheating happened. But now here comes this opportunity again to get married. And you want to get married. You want to see these things. Even though she doesn't necessarily say it point blank, it's clear as we see things that this is a trajectory at least you think she should go, right? And she thinks she should go this way, which is why she says yes. Because you see it's not a happy, full-hearted yes when she says it.
You're right. It kind of was like,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Anything else?
Yeah, okay. I can accept that. So anyway, she accepts Jacques' proposal. Luca doesn't know about it. Then she doesn't really tell Luca about it, but then she tells Luca about it, and he's like, I hate you and don't want to be with you anymore. And but we also need to mention that during this time of transition for her, she calls it her hoe phase. She's fully exploring the freedom of being a mature woman who can have relationships that are meaningful or not. Right? Like she's like, I can do this. I have the freedom to do this. But it's while she is dating a male stripper.
Yes.
Who again, oh my God, so fine. Anyway, let's just review what Dr. Tachi said. Yes, all the people in this show are absolutely stunning.
Just beautiful.
They're just beautiful. The men.
Anyway. And these are not, just to add, these are not we've seen these people before.
No.
Not that they've not been in things, but on this scale where we would see them and know who they are. This is the first time that we're seeing many of these people, and it's refreshing.
100%. 100%. So while she's with stripper dude, she has a little bit of a pregnancy scare, which I was like, I'm sorry, what now? So this is okay. This is the point. I don't think there's anything you can say that's going to convince me otherwise. This is the one thing that I felt was completely out of character.
Okay.
She has this pregnancy scare. She's like super relieved that the pregnancy test is negative. But then she starts down this road of like investigating IVF because now all of a sudden she wants to be a mom. And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry, you can barely still take care of yourself. Like, what? So I just didn't buy that piece of her journey. Like, that was really a true to character part of her journey. It felt very disjointed and disconnected for me.
This is what would have worked. Listen up.
Okay.
Michelle Buteau.
We should tag her in this.
Yeah, we need to tag you in this. This is what I think would have worked. So in the series, she is like 38.
Correct.
So she's getting to the point that, so they say,
it's a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah, geriatric pregnancy, which is the stupidest thing. Okay.
It's not the dumbest name.
It's dumb. And the thing is, everybody is different. Do you know how many people still after the geriatric phase so that's neither here nor there. But maybe she's feeling, okay, so it doesn't happen. And then it's like, well, you know what? I actually do want to be a mother eventually. There's nobody on the horizon right now. Maybe I should freeze my eggs. That I could believe.
Yes, 100%. But to fully dive into exploring IVF, and she's always complaining about money. And last time I checked, IVF is really expensive.
It's super expensive.
I mean, I thankfully didn't have to rely on that to get my kids, but I have read about people and how it is financially just devastating sometimes, right? And so it's like she's always complaining about how she doesn't have enough money, she's broke, she's this, she's that, but she's diving down a hole of IVF, but she's still trying to discover who she really is. I don't know. I just didn't buy that part of it, but I like your idea because I think that makes way more sense.
Or because she also doesn't think straight sometimes, she would have explored IVF, and then Tasha Smith's character would have come in and said, now, you know good and damn well you have no money. Why are you even, you're right. That could have been not even a whole plot point, but just an aspect that they did. So they could have done that, but then it's just in line with the other foolish decisions that she...
Right. And a lot of them are just they're such half-baked decisions.
Yes.
That when they don't work out, she's the only one surprised that they don't, because the rest of us are like, duh.
Exactly.
What I did appreciate about the whole IVF storyline, though, was that Khalil was the one who was like, so you had one pregnancy scare with a stripper and now you want to be a mom?
Exactly.
Like, who says what we're all thinking?
So I think that's maybe why it was done, because it was foolish and it didn't make any sense. And so he was the voice of reason in that.
For sure. But yeah, it was but the differences, I think, in the themes between season 1 and season 2 is that in season 1, Mavis was really more about figuring out what direction she wants to go with her career and her business, and figuring out what her self-worth is.
Right.
And then in season 2, she's kind of figured out who she is as I hate to say it like this because it sounds like it's too businessy, but like what her personal brand is.
Yeah.
As a person, while at the same time she's still kind of trying to figure out what to do professionally. And then they add the pressure in of now she's considered like a body positive influencer, right? So now she's getting press and she's getting social media famous a little bit. for her work. But again, I feel like, and this is not necessarily her fault because Netflix gives her what they give her. But I really feel like just having a half an hour. So 8 episodes, of 30 minutes each. It's only 4 hours each season. Like, I don't feel like we're really still getting enough time with these people, which makes like the pacing and the stakes feel not as they feel a little bit low.
You know what? No, I do agree. And I think there could be a happy medium of a let's call it like a 45-minute. If you remember Insecure was not a full hour, but it was over a half hour. So I want to say it was like 40 minutes or so, 42 minutes, something to that extent. And you feel like you didn't want it to end, but you feel like you got a full day's worth of vitamin C.
100%.
Right? So I think they could have done the same thing here, but again, it's all on what Netflix gives you. And I think to the best of her ability, within the half hour, she's trying to work in all of these plot points.
No, I don't disagree. Let me ask you this. Did you think that the overarching theme of body positivity and the whole superficial as it was, the exploration of fat phobia and all that, do you feel like that's still timely, or do you feel like it was a little dated?
That's a very interesting question, because I think we have to look at culturally what these things mean. Now, she did not necessarily work in fashion is an industry that is very
body conscious.
Body conscious. That's exactly it. That's very body conscious. But outside of that, in her world, she's not immersed in a world where that is a huge thing. Most of the people she's hanging out with are Black.
Yeah.
And thickness is seen very differently in Black communities.
Correct.
So this is not like it was Sex in the great example in Sex in the City, and not to make a parallel between the two. If you remember, after 2 times, Miranda, after she had Brady, the baby, and obviously you gain weight when you have children, and they were at a bar, the whole thing was about fitting into these jeans. They were at a bar and somebody said something, and obviously she had just had a baby. This is, of course, but it became a big thing. Fitting into these jeans again. Same thing when Samantha, this was in the Sex and the City movie though. She had gained a little bit of weight, and she had moved out to LA with the guy, right? And was living with that guy, and they were like, they're like, hey, looking at her, and they're like, I eat so I won't cheat. That's what she said. And so there was a big thing made about the weight. Whereas here, I don't feel a big deal being made about the weight.
No, I'm not saying that, but like her character there's a lot of references to, I want to make bigger girls feel beautiful. I want to concentrate my business on women who the fashion industry overlooks, right? There's a lot of that. And it to me, and it feels like body positivity was still being seen more as a niche and not as mainstream as it is now, although it is imperfectly applied, right? Like, I'm not saying we've gotten over that. That's not at all what I'm saying.
No.
But it did feel slightly dated to me, based on other characters on other shows that I have seen.
I think it was placed. It feels misplaced, and I don't want to say that body positivity feels misplaced. That's not it at all.
Yeah,
but it feels misplaced because again, in the fashion industry, yes, and that's where she works. But for the most part, we are not dealing with her at work, right? We're dealing with her outside of that, and so this just feels like, okay, let's just put this in here, and that was probably not the point, but it feels it feels like it was placed in there, and it could have been just a regular line that was size inclusive.
Yeah.
And it would have achieved the same thing, because that's not the main point of the series, if you ask me.
I would agree with you. I feel like it's I felt like the show was trying a little too hard in that.
Yes.
Because overall the show does celebrate female empowerment, Black women in particular, and it resonates with joy. Like, it really does do all of those things. I just felt like that piece of it just didn't gel right for me. And so so season 2 ends. Her and Luca are not a thing. Luca moved to New York, didn't tell her, for good reason. He would like to get back together with her. She's not sure if that's what's going to happen. But season 2 ends without any real closure for anyone, which is fine. It leaves the door open for season 3. But going into season 3, what would you like to see the most?
I'm really interested in how this thing with Luca is going to develop. So he's here, right? Has a whole apartment, has, for all intents and purposes, has moved here. We see well, spoiler kind of. We see the final episode where he puts her in a cab. She goes off and then stops, and basically
we're both going the same direction.
Both going the same direction. So who knows what takes place in the cab, what conversations take place in the cab.
Right.
Is it an uncomfortable silence? Do they really start to, talk? Do they? I want to see where this thing with Luca is going to go, because again, none of the relationships that she's had throughout these 2 seasons, and there have been 3, right, that have been recurring. Yeah. Not counting the whole phase, but that have been recurring.
Yeah.
And none of them have ever come to anything.
Yeah.
We know whenever we see series, especially if it's a comedy series, I don't know many where, unless they're already married, where if they're single and they're dating, where things last very long. Look at before Carrie got married to Big.
Yeah.
How long she did have one long-term relationship with Aiden, right? But look how many people she dated in the whole however 10 years or however many it was on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
1 or 2 episodes.
Although, I mean, I feel like a lot of TV writers and whatever, people in general, maybe it's like once they're in a relationship, like somehow they can't have fun, like the comedy ends, like and or they become caricatures, and like they both do really stupid things. Mostly the guy does really stupid things, and then the woman is like rolling her eyes, oh, you're so silly, whatever. Like, I don't want to see either one of those scenarios.
No,
I would, but I think that there's still plenty of time, because they still have to learn who each other is, like, for real.
Exactly.
Who each other is. I would also, and you mentioned this earlier, I would really love to see a greater exploration of Marley. Who is she? Because we only get these brief glimpses when she's in her relationship, and I don't remember her name, but she's like a councilwoman.
Yes, I'll look it up, but she was on she just was on the show Harlem.
Oh, okay.
She was one of the characters on the show Harlem. Mm-hmm.
But they're having intimate relations, and Marley is emotionally verklempt, right? Like, she gets teary-eyed, she can't believe this, and it causes her to get dressed and leave, right? Now, they do talk about it a little bit, but I would like to see more of Marley. I want to know her a little bit more. I want to understand, like we understand Khalil a little bit more. I would like to understand Marley in that same way.
Yeah, I would too. And again, I can't speak for what Michelle Buteau was thinking, but I'm thinking maybe she did not want this to go in a stereotypical queer direction, which is why she held off on covering Marley and who she was and what she was, and delved a little bit deeper into Khalil, because that's something that we don't often see.
Wow.
And we just, again, the character who is the love interest for Marley, the councilwoman, she just got off of Harlem playing that same type of character. Not a councilwoman, but the strong Black queer. We just saw that. Okay. So I feel like, not that was the first thing in her mind, but trying to steer away from telling the same stories and trying to develop this character in a way that makes sense, and not so we can fit into season 2.
Agreed. All right. So that's Survival of the Thickest. If we didn't give you enough spoilers, please go watch it. Or even if we did and you don't care, because you're like me and I'll read about it and then watch it and then watch it and then read about it. There we go.
Can I give a final thing?
Yes, please.
I would say watch it, definitely.
100%.
I think it is it's bingeable. It is a good watch. You learn a lot of different things. It gives you insight into the way millennials in Brooklyn are thinking. Not all of them, but I think that's also why New York wasn't really the big character, because they're just living their lives and this is what they do. And this happens to be the city that we do it in. We love New York, but this is who we are. So we're not making a big deal out of, I'm going here, I'm doing that.
I would also like to state that I really appreciated the way Khalil's character was written, in that they go to the, I don't even know what the name of it is, the drag bar, because you can eat there and drink and whatever. Yeah. He is not, he doesn't feel like his masculinity is in question. He doesn't feel like his heterosexuality is ever threatened or anything. Like, he is so comfortable in his skin and with his friendship that he can go to this place and just be like, yep, I'm here to have a drink and eat dinner and hang out, and I know all of you and you know me, and we're super cool. Like, I appreciated that especially as well.
I agree.
Okay, so that has to be our final note, because we're running out of time and you'll be mad if this goes longer. So thank you, Dr. Tachi, for being with me for 2 more episodes of Telling Tales the Right Way. We discussed Survival of the Thickest, and just in case you want to see some more beautiful people again, here they are. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.